Good morning, beautiful souls. I am Annapurna Devi with Awakening to Harmony. And this morning I had a little bit of a push from my people. Um, I did a channeling a couple days ago, and they just really encouraged me to give a little bit more explanation about some of the themes within the channeling. And to kind of further help you all to understand what is being offered through these other dimensions. And I guess being a Gemini, they are always talking about the fact that I have words that that they connect with and that help to explain this. I was a teacher, preschool teacher, for quite a few years. And so, not that y'all are preschoolers, but that sometimes having that approach of very, very simple explanations can be so helpful because really what these messages are really telling us is a completely different thing that we have been listening to since we were incarnated here, since we were born. And stepping out of that script, that role, is really it's hard. I mean, they always like to use the word challenging, but I would say to them, you're not here, you're not in a physical body. It is really challenging. It is really hard. So, the first thing that I want to offer you is understanding frequency. We are all energy and light. And I don't mean light as in light. I mean, yes, there's light, but there's also light, actual quantifiable scientific spectrum of color. Okay? So when they tell us we are all frequency and light and that this is all a hologram, some of us whoop out of our bodies. We're like, oh, that's too much. I can't hear that. That's, like we're all in the Matrix or something, which is really not far off. But here's the thing. We are fractals of our soul that's having this experience. Does it mean that we are less than just because we're not the whole entire soul, just because we're not the whole, the whole bucket of chicken? No, we are important. This portion, this fractal that is sitting in front of you that has chosen this script, chosen these two names, right? So I was born Anne Kathleen. And then when I met my meditation teacher, I was given the name Annapurna Devi. So are those not significant? Of course they are. You are significant. You are important. Just because we use the words illusion or hologram or script or narrative and that this is a school, it doesn't mean that it isn't important and that it isn't real to the extent that it is an experience that we are having and that it is an important experience. And if you think of it this way, we're actually delegates and we're on our jobs. We're working. We're working. This is work. We chose to come here. We are advanced students. Otherwise, we wouldn't come to this Earth School. You have to get to a certain place within your community, your star family community. You have to get to a certain place in order to be allowed to these amazing bodies that are created. It's kind of like, think of it this way. Air Force pilots, right? So the first time they fly like a, $1 billion fighter pilot or fighter jet, it's like that. Okay, these bodies are important and very I won't say expensive because they don't look at intrinsic value or money value the same way that we do here in this third dimension, but they are hugely, they don't just hand these to everybody. Let's put it that way. Okay, so let's do a little overview. So we are frequency, energy, light. That is what we are. That is what everything is. And so from that perspective, that is the components of this matrix or this illusion. Okay, so now that we kind of have that out of the way, knowing that you're important, knowing that this name and this ego in a good way, ego meaning personality, meaning what you offer in uniqueness, separate from me, separate from everyone else. You have a unique way you speak, the way you present your light into the world. So that is all valuable and extremely beautiful, extremely beautiful. So now I'm going to go into frequency and vibration, okay? Third density or third dimension or is where physicality has the illusion of form. So the form is vibrating very densely, very slowly. Okay, so that's why it looks like it's solid. Stones and rocks are second density, so they were really, really slow vibration, right? So that is why they feel so heavy. So if you walk on the earth and you pick up a rock, that is what you are sensing, is that second density, that dimension. Okay, we are third dimension in these bodies. But here's the thing. Some of us are now engaged in this unveiling. You know, we're going behind the veil, we're moving them out of the way, and that means that we've stepped into the fourth dimension. Fourth dimension is a bridge between third and fifth. That bridge is a really important place because it is where we still get sucked into third dimensional narrative, you know, like contrast and looking at the storyline, possibly our own storyline, possibly other storylines, and really engaging emotionally in them being real. But they're not. They're not. It is a way for us to engage with our emotional life. If there was no contrast, if there was no challenge, then we wouldn't be able to access the emotions we can here in these bodies, because out there in other dimensions, they do not access the emotional range that we do. This emotional range is huge. And it's because we are not manifesting instantly. Manifestation happens starting in the fifth dimension instantaneously. So does destruction. You know, it's like things are manifested, things are unmanifested, manifested. You know, but here we become very attached because it takes a longer amount of time, which is an illusion. It's a delayed manifestation process so that we become more involved, more invested in these creations that we manifest. Okay, so now I'm going to go deeper into this frequency and vibrational idea. So when we are in the third dimension, there is a connection to all of these different situations that come up that appear to look victim or perpetrator. So we either feel like a victim, right, because somebody did something to us, or we feel like the perpetrator. We're doing something to someone. Those are roles that we're playing in order to access these deeper emotional states. You're thinking about those relationships, aren't you? You're thinking about that boyfriend in high school, right? Oh my God, is that what that was about? What? Or that boss, you know, your first boss that you really, you know, felt invested in the job, right? Okay. think of the emotional range that you were reaching, like that first boyfriend, like, oh my God, that pain and the amount of extreme emotion that we experience. Okay, well, that was valuable. Why is it valuable? Let's talk about that. Okay. We engage in these roles. We're totally immersed in the script. We think it's real. We think it's real. When we access these emotions, what we're really offering is an energetic, almost like a recording, an energetic recording that we give to the other dimensions, to the star communities that we come from. What that means for them is they are taking that data, right? We're like data machines. They're taking the data and they're analyzing it, and they are integrating it into these star communities. Why do they do that? Aren't they advanced? Aren't they like doing fine? Okay, no, not so much. So even though here, with the wars and the famine and uh, everything that's happening on this planet, that it is not as real because it is a matrix, because it is a place that we come to experience these things, and they are created. But out there, things are happening that are more real than the things that are happening here. Why? Um, well, I don't really have an answer for that, but what I hear is that there is still conflict, there is still things that need to be improved within um, the connections between different species in the universe. They don't have access to compassion as we do here, as we cultivate here. Um, we are helping them to develop a connection to the heart, to expand that heart. And not to get into explaining different species, but Zetas, or the Greys, at one point decided to disengage from emotional life completely. They are a species that became really dependent on technology, and in that they were in the third dimension as well, not here on Earth, because this is a matrix, this is a different experience, but in their own star systems. And so, from what I've heard from other channelers, from other information, is that their species almost died off because they cut off that emotional content, that heart, that space of compassion. So there's a whole storyline that goes on with how that gets resolved or is improved. But the bottom line is this is really, really important, this access that we have here to these conflicts, to understanding ourselves as emotional beings, because we carry that when we go back to where we come from when this incarnation is done, or possibly just stepping into the fifth dimension at some point, meaning that we can dissolve the physical body, create a new body, dissolve that body. That's what's possible in the fifth dimension because we have a different orientation with the entire physics of the universe. Okay. The third dimension is a place where we don't get to do that. Because why? Well, because it confines us. It makes us look at these situations as if they are real, and we don't have the capability of just snapping our fingers and things changing, which is what we do everywhere else. So we become more attached, right? Attached to outcomes, attached to these things. Now, are these things bad and wrong? Of course not. That's how we are offering this emotional content to the stars. Do we need to stay there? No. We can step out of the roles that we've played, the script that we wrote before we came here. We can step out of that. That's part of the fourth dimension, is recognizing that we don't need to keep playing these roles of difficulty and challenge. Now, one of the things that's really important to understand is that when you engage in the third dimensional narrative of others, then what is happening is you are not really accessing your own heart, your own uh, experience as a divine being, as a fifth, sixth, seventh, 10th dimensional being, which is what we are, but we have descended. We have descended from those dimensions into a corporeal body to have this experience, to offer our communities this information. So, do we need to stay there? No, we don't. How do we disengage? Okay, well, stop watching the news. Stop checking in to the storylines that are happening all around you. There's a lot of storylines. Um, you know, so many storylines I can't even begin to talk about them. You know, the deforestation, the oceans are polluted. All of these are narratives. Remember that Gaia is actually underneath this matrix. Gaia is underneath this matrix. She is actually going through her own evolution as well. The narratives that we are, observing or seeing, they are not real. That's the illusion. That's the matrix. The matrix is here, purposeful. Now, let's say somebody gets inspired by what they're seeing and wants to be a part of making solutions. Let's say they're a scientist. Let's say they are an inventor. That is something that is purposeful, and they are engaging in uh, their divinity in order to bring it into a solution making process. That's great. That's amazing. But those of us that are just witnessing the stories of things that are happening all over the world, in our country, in our politics, in our economics, whatever, that are not engaging in on the boots on the ground solution making, then what you're doing is you're just using these stories to feel really shitty. And that is third dimensional. You're just stuck. You're stuck in the narrative. And the issue with that is that when you're stuck in the narrative and not being a person of action within the solution making process, you're not accessing your divinity. You're just going, this is happening. What do I do? I'm just going to go and have a drink because I just can't take it. I'm going to go and do this, or I'm just going to go feel really shitty for the rest of the day. Okay, well, I'm not really laughing because I am laughing because I've been there. I've been like, oh my God, I just can't take it anymore. I don't know what to do. Okay, I've been there. Okay, so what I know about that is that don't do it. Don't do it. Step away. As Abraham Hicks says, reach for those feelings that feel good. So go meditate. Go connect with yourself. Make that connection with your own star family. Start having conversations with them. Start remembering where you come from. When you start remembering where you come from, your life experience shifts. It moves up. It changes. All of a sudden, abundance comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden, opportunities come out of nowhere. You become the change maker in your own community, in your own small family community, the community that is role playing, but you become the change maker. When you don't join everybody in their suffering, it's not that we are not compassionate with those people, but don't join them. Stay in your lane, people. Stay in your lane. Stay in your good feelings. Stay in your ability to manifest a beautiful, amazing life. There are so many things to be thankful for and appreciate in this amazing, amazing world. So many parts of this world are beautiful and not being destroyed. So many parts of this world are being helped by amazing people. Now, if you want to get on a plane and join that group that's making a difference, I totally salute that. That's awesome. That means that you are accessing your own divine self in offering a solution that brings you joy. It's a passion. But if you're just sitting at home watching the news and not engaging in any kind of action or solution making from your higher self, then you're just really getting sucked into the narrative, and you're not becoming who you could become. And who you could become is a beautiful change maker, because if you step out of the narrative, then guess what? Somebody you have a conversation with, a friend, somebody you meet in the grocery store, you might have a conversation that's of a higher level, a higher vibration, a higher frequency that might encourage them to, wow, I think I'm going to raise my vibration. I think I'm going to think different thoughts. I think I'm going to choose my thoughts more carefully. I think I'm going to create a sense of purpose in my life. I think I'm going to feel like I want to choose joy every day. I think I want to feel like I want to be happy every day. Like, I'm so appreciative of everything that I'm surrounded by. That's the person that you could be every day. But it's a choice. And it is a choice to step away from the mainstream. The mainstream is the collective consciousness is still very much dialed into this third dimension. That's okay. That's their process. But if you're watching this, I would venture to guess that you're questioning how much you want that to affect you anymore. If you don't want it to affect you anymore, then start engaging in going within, going within, going within. The way to access higher dimensions and information is through the heart. The heart is your portal. When you meditate, close your eyes, focus on your heart, focus on your breathing, right? And then go to your heart. Stay there a while, linger there a while. It is expansive. What you'll find if you do that long enough, you'll feel this huge space. It is the portal to other dimensions, people. Yes. If you want to do what I do, if you want to connect with these other beings, that's how you do it. Now, if you need a little help, if you want to experience a channeling, I am happy to be of service. Get a hold of me and we can make an appointment. But that's the way to do it. Maybe you need a little bit of time to figure that out, and I can help you do that too. But really, my goal with my work, Awakening to Harmony, is to awaken to our own vibration. Awaken to your own vibration. You are a beautiful emanation of energy and light, a fractal of a soul that is divine. That is who I am. That is who you are. Maybe we could all start acting like it. Maybe. All right. I'm Annapurna Devi. I am with Awakening to Harmony, and I send so many blessings. The galactic dimensions really, really love you. They see you as who you truly are, not this narrative, not this third dimensional persona. You are so, 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 so much more. Engage with that part of you. All right. So many blessings. Have a beautiful Friday, and happy full moon in Pisces, and happy Mercury retrograde. Let's reframe. This is the next 3 weeks is a time to relax. Don't start anything new. Just move slower. Maybe take some time for yourself. All right. Many blessings. I'll do another video on Mercury retrograde so that you guys can have some tools and some processes to move through it smoothly and access its secrets. All right. Love to you all. Mwah! Talk to you soon. Bye.